Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the September 27th meeting of the Planning Commission to order and ask Commissioner, actually Vice Chair Donor, to lead us in the flag. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair Donor. With that, I'd like to ask the Madam Secretary if she could do a roll call.
Please let the record show that all planning commissioners are present.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the minutes. I was not at the last meeting, so I will be abstaining from the vote.
I move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Please vote. All right, that item has passed. Thank you. Moving on to public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight other than those that are on the agenda?
No, Chair Nelson.
Okay, perfect. So we'll move past that to our consent calendar. We don't have anything on the consent calendar, which brings us to item D, public hearings. Item number 2, which is an appeal, the Community Development Director's approval of minor site development permit SDP 21-0009M to construct a 739 square foot living area addition to a non-conforming single-family dwelling in the residential single-family 7 zoning district located at 34732 Calle Fortuna. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, Principal Planner Belinda Dinas so provided a staff report.
Thank you, Brenda. Good evening, Chair Nelson, Planning Commissioners, and members of the public. My name is Belinda Dinas, Principal Planner. An appeal has been filed of the Director of Community Development's approval of minor site development permit 21-0009M for the proposed project located at 34732 Calle Fortuna. The subject site is in Capistrano Beach, located within the RSF 7 zoning district. The site is approximately 6,655 square feet, currently developed with an existing 2-story single-family dwelling with an attached 2-car garage built in 1973. Here is an image of the existing site conditions with the subject property located in the center. The proposed project involves a 739 square foot upper level addition to the existing house. A site development permit is required because the attached 2-car garage is non-conforming to current development standards. The garage encroaches 7 inches into the front setback, 5 inches into the side setback, and is 3 inches short for the required 20-foot interior clearance of the garage. The proposed addition meets all applicable development standards for the RSF 7 zoning district. On August 17, 2021, an administrative hearing was conducted, and the Director of Community Development approved the project after receiving public input and objections on the project. An appeal letter of the Director's approval was filed by the adjacent neighbor in a timely manner on August 31st, 2021. Here's a close-up of the site plan to show the non-conforming garage. The orange dashed line shows the required 20-foot front setback and 5-foot side setback. The highlighted area shows the existing garage walls encroaching into those setbacks. Furthermore, the interior dimension of the 2-car garage is substandard at 19 foot 9 inches, but can fit 2 cars. For reference, here is the site plan shown with the required building setbacks in orange. Here is the lower level and upper level floor plans with the addition of a master suite and bonus room above the existing garage and living room respectively. The rear and front elevation show the proposed upper level and upgrades with new exterior finishes. And the side elevations depict how the addition will be architecturally integrated with the existing structure. Pursuant to Dana Point Municipal Code Section 9.71.050, approval, conditional approval, or denial of any site development permit application must be based on the following factors: compliance of the site design with the proposed development standards of the zoning code, suitability of the site for the proposed development, compliance with the general plan and urban design guidelines, and lastly, site and structural design appropriate for the site without requiring a particular style of architecture. The staff report provides justification in support of the SDP application and provides an analysis of the basis of the appeal letter. As such, staff recommends that the Planning Commission deny the appeal and sustain the director's approval. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the project and staff report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions of staff in the commission? No. Can you do me a favor, Belinda, and go back to the slide that showed the garage with the dimensions on it? Just want to look at it one more time. Okay, perfect, thank you. I have no questions, so if there are other questions.
Have we verified that the survey's correct? That this isn't just a meets and bounds? They used the wrong monument for determining where the garage was located?
The
And where the
topograph,
boundaries of the property are? I mean, surveyors make mistakes.
I believe it's not a boundary survey, but it is a topographic survey that has been
That they
prepared
use-
by a civil engineer. The applicant is here and can speak to that specifically.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I take this off when I'm speaking, or keep it on?
Yeah, you can take it off.
Oh, thanks. My name is Rob Williams. I'm with Studio 6 Architects. We represent the Culps. And the survey was a topographical map survey. It was not a boundary or record of survey as far as locating the property corners and getting recorded the county. So it's a licensed surveyor based on all the information he got from the county and all the information for the title report. Feels confident that where this house sits presently is accurate on the map that he provided us.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? All right, with that, since this is an appeal, what I'm gonna do is open the public hearing, and I'm gonna invite up, first the appellant, Jerry I think it's Egner, and he'll have 3 minutes, as well as, the property, well, either Mr. Williams or the property owner, Mr. Culp, will have 3 minutes to rebut any of that testimony. Certainly wouldn't want to limit anybody from speaking tonight, so in regards to that, everybody will have an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes who has submitted a card.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Jerry Egner, my wife Shelley Egner. We are not only residents 27 years in Capistrano Beach at this residence, but we have been contributing members to this community for the last 27 years. We raised our children and now enjoying our grandchildren in the same house. Not in the same house, but anyway. I don't believe that this is as much about the conforming and non-conforming. It is, but I think this is more about your discretion. And I'll get more into that. But this is about this garage where it sits will not only block our view, block the light from our house, but it will reduce the value of our home. The Culps have several other options. In fact, we did a similar construction back 20 years ago. We took into consideration going over our garage and the neighbor to the right of us. It would have blocked their view, identical to what's happening with us. This is about doing the right thing. I know that this committee spends a lot of time preserving your abilities to use discretion. Otherwise, we would just have a city attorney rubber stamping everything. This community does not have CC&Rs. It does not have homeowners association. It relies on you to make discretionary calls when it comes to situations like this. And I'm appealing to that, that we do the right thing. Again, our home would lose significant value. And the claim that the appellant doesn't provide justification for the findings just isn't true. That disregards all the points that I made in my letter. The non-conforming, this is quote, non-conforming structures may be expanded provided that the proposed expansion meets the current requirements and that this code and and positively contributes to the neighborhood. I understand that everyone in this room can argue the point that the Colb's remodel will contribute to the neighborhood. It's unfortunate that we are here. Up until this incident, we had a good relationship with our neighbors. And I know that this commission would rather us work it out, and I tried. When I approached Mr. Colb about this, and I told him that this was a concern of ours, that it was going to block our view and cut out the light, his response was, "Oh, well, Butch, I got to do what I got to do." In fact, when I met with the architect that came over to the house, because he knows, obviously, he was a commissioner and knew that it would be helpful to try to resolve this, or at least suggested it was attempted. He pointed out over the balcony what was going on, and I said, why don't you just flip the design, put the master bedroom on the other side. And he said, well, you see the roof line on the other side of the house over there, the opposing neighbor on the south side? I said, yeah. He says, that's a little higher than normal. I said, okay. He said, well, we talked about that, but actually, Butch, they didn't want to do that because, wait for it, it will block their view, the view that they don't have. And so this is about appealing to your discretion. They have several options that will contribute to the community.
I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap it up.
Yeah, they have several options that will contribute. I'd be happy to work with them on those options. I'm not difficult. I'm a very reasonable person, but this is going to reduce the value. I do have a letter from a realtor, 34 years, Scott Kidd, that will testify to the fact that by doing this will reduce the value of our home. All I can tell you is that, again, we've been contributing members to this community, including coaching baseball at the park here for 18 years. I was responsible for bringing in Gene Burris, who is the Gene Burris Field. I've contributed many times to fundraising events, including ones that I've actually personally spearheaded for 2 years that you may remember if you've been here over 20 years, that brought in thousands of dollars to this community for the sole purpose of cleaning these beaches and protecting them. I've been a part of this community, and now I appeal to this board to please have my back. That's why I'm part of this community. And I rely on that discretion because we don't have anything else. They have other options.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is either Rob Williams or Jeremy Colb.
Yes, appreciate the time tonight. Yes, we did meet. We did go over.
Let the record reflect that Rob Williams
Rob
is at
Williams,
the mic.
apologize for
Thank
that.
you.
We did meet with the neighbors next door. They have a lovely home. They've done a lot of work to it over the years. And he's right. I mean, we had looked at several options. At the end of the day, this was the best option, not only for the house itself as far as the layout, but for the property, because we're building over the garage. The other side, we'd have to completely build a first floor, then a whole second floor. And he's correct. I mean, there's a house next door that would cause some concerns as far as views. And they wanted to take advantage of the views that they have the right of on their property. But one of the things that we noticed when we were out there with the neighbors is they have a second floor. They've, the room that we're talking about specifically is a secondary bedroom that they use as an office. The main window that they look out of is about 2 foot by 4 feet. It's got a desk right there. If you walk out on the deck, we looked at that they could probably see past the addition. It could be blocked, you know, it's kind of hard to tell until you get, you know, the house built. But the concern they've done on their homes, they put the master bedroom on the non-view side. You know, if they really wanted the view and really wanted to design their home, they would have put the master bedroom where the secondary bedroom is today. Their family room is on the rear of their home. So they've taken advantage of it, of the house and the neighborhood, but this specific room it's not a primary room that would have views. But like I was trying to explain to them, is that's not why we're here tonight. We're not talking about views, we're not talking about the addition, we're talking about the existing nonconformities. If there was no existing nonconformities, this addition would be permitted, would be under construction right now. So the views and the addition is not why we're here. It's the fact that the house originally was built to a certain standard back then, but today's standards, the city of Dana Point now, because it was built back when it was county. Standards in the city of Dana Point are different. So that's why we're here. We've shifted the second floor quite a bit off the garage, not only in the front, we've cut a corner of it off, we've shifted it off, so we're not aligning with the existing nonconformities. The addition conforms or exceeds the minimum setbacks for the city. So it's because the way the garage was built is why we're here today. So other than that, if you got any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. And next is Jeremy Colbert, if he would like to speak. Okay. Do we have any other speakers tonight on this issue? All right, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for discussion and vote. Anybody want to start? It's up to you.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time looking at the Eigner's letter and went through each one of their, each one of their issues with an independent eye, and I came to the same conclusions that the city staff did, not only in terms of the increase in square footage is just what it is. It's at 47%. That that they're not in the floodplain. In fact, I don't even know where that came from, because I independently went to FEMA, FEMA.gov, and pulled up the map, and their property's at 150 feet, and the closest zone A for San Juan Creek is over 4,200 feet away. So it's nowhere close to any floodplains within the creek area itself. So I'm in support of the staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Commissioner Opel?
So I too went through all of the original documents as well as the appellant's letter, looking through all of the documentation, really reviewed the drawings, the site, looked at the concerns of the view, and I could not see a valid reason for the appeal. So I am currently in favor of the holding to the staff decision.
Thank you. Vice Chair Donner?
In looking at each of the points, the first point, taking the ocean view for themselves, what I noticed is the house, if you're facing the house to the right, there's a second story also built out on the second floor. So it seems unreasonable to not allow the applicant to build the same thing as their neighbor has. And also, what I looked at is, if we don't allow the neighbor to build, then we're taking some value away from the applicant and giving it to the appellate. So that didn't seem fair to me. I think the design and the proposed development will be a positive contribution to the neighborhood. And I don't see it as a bad precedent, because views are not really an issue for protecting under the city of Dana Point. And since there is no assessment of being in a floodplain, I'm also favorable to upholding the approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Donner. I did very much the same that everybody else did, and frankly came to the very same conclusion. But I got there a little differently, and I looked at it from a different perspective of, if the community development director decided to punt this to us, which he would have had every right to do under our current code, and it's happened before here where something gets pushed up to us to make a decision. What decision would I make? So I separate myself from the issues at hand, which were brought up by each one of you, very well detailed out by the appellant. My conclusion still would be to approve this for a number of different reasons. And first and foremost, as a discretionary body, there is a limitation to our discretion. And while I can certainly appreciate good citizenship and being part of a city and doing the great things that the appellant has done that he talked about tonight, I don't get to use those as the basis for my decision. I got to use our code. We also have state laws like SB 8, SB 9 that, and SB 3, or not 9, but SB 330 that limit the amount of discretion that we have up here. And views is certainly not one of them. You know, that we cannot use views as a reason to deny a request, nor can we use some property reduction or value reduction as a basis for our decision. If we did do that, you know, then we'd be up here trying to figure out what every permit would do to the properties nearby, and that's not our role, unfortunately, in this situation for the appellant. So I'm in favor, or I'm not in support of the appeal. I would uphold the community development director's decision, and I still think there are options. I think at the end of this, what it sounds like is there was a relationship between these two parties at some point, and maybe there's an opportunity to rebuild that. You know, there's never say never until they tear the roof off of that garage, and there may still be an opportunity to work things out, but this is not the place for that, unfortunately, and it's not an area that we get involved in. And so with that, I will take a motion. Anybody?
I move that we approve the appeal, we deny the appeal of the Community Development Director's approval of minor site development permit SDP 21009M to construct a 739 square foot living area addition to the non-conforming single-family dwelling in the residential single-family 7 RSF7 zoning district located at 34732 Calle Fortuna.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. So just to be clear, a yes vote is a denial of the appeal? Okay. And the appeal is denied and the planning director's decision has been upheld. All right, moving on to the next item is item E, old business, short-term rental subcommittee update.
The subcommittee has not met since your last meeting, but just to remind you that our next milestone is conducting our community workshop. So what we're developing now is a postcard that will go out to property owners as well as tenants. And we anticipate having a new commissioner on board. The City Council is scheduled to consider applicants at the first meeting in October. So that would put our workshop probably towards the end of October, maybe early November.
Great. All right, anything else you would want to bring up or add, Vice Chair Donor?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the postcard.
Yeah, all right. Okay, with that, we'll move on to new business. I don't see any new business. Do we have any staff reports tonight? No staff reports? Okay.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, and last but not least, commissioner comments. Let's go around the horn here.
Just a friendly reminder of the State of the City
Oh, right.
presentation this Wednesday night at the Ocean Institute.
No? All right. So with that, I will adjourn tonight's meeting to the next regular meeting of the Planning Commission, which will be held on October 11th, 2021, beginning at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter in the City Council chambers located at 33282 Golden Lantern, Suite 210, Dana Point. Thank you.